Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Magnificent. I am your host, Matt Sims, and I am very happy to present to you a very knowledgeable guy in the entertainment business. He is a light designer, and a master electrician for the entertainment industry. He is also a huge wrestling fan, and because it's WrestleMania, I wanted to talk to him about that, which is going to be so much fun to talk about. But ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce Mr. Kade Kriewall. Kade, welcome to the show, bud.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Happy WrestleMania Saturday to you.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that it's been 2 days instead of one Sunday, you know.
Absolutely.
Now it's like 2 days worth and
double the action.
I guess you could say that. Yeah, double the action.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just look at it as like, okay, it's WrestleMania Saturday. Great. What happened to WrestleMania Sunday? But I think what they're doing now is because there's so much talent, they want to add all of them because it's big WrestleMania. Like you've made it if you've been on the WrestleMania stage, you know?
Yeah.
So they want to, put X amount of people on the card and and add 2 days to it. So but we'll talk about that down the line. So you're a light designer and a master electrician.
Yes.
What does that entail? Like, did you go to school for it? Like, what tell me your story.
I did, yeah. So a lot of lighting designers that I know of that I've met over time, they always say, yeah, I always started in high school. I always did theater, or, some people even just started in just live music, really. For me, it was theater for me. I went to Henry Ford II, as you know. We went to high school together, and
Right.
I've grown up with your family, and your siblings have done theater, and you've done theater yourself, and
Yeah.
I started everything out in the theater world, like, man, I'd love to be an actor, but I only did a couple of shows, but it only happened to be so where it was my freshman year of high school. They said, hey, I was taking driver's training at the time, and they're like, hey, if you miss more than 2 rehearsals, we're going to have to replace you on the cast. And I'm like, oh man, I can't do that. Like, can I still be a part of the show? They're like, yeah, well, I mean, if you want to do sound or do a sound crew or something, we'll throw you on there. I said, okay, yeah. I've always wanted to know what that was like, and essentially that turned into this would be fun, turned into I want to do this. And as you know, like when we've grown up in high school, like we've had a lot of people that came from a very, I'd say, a prestigious class of light designers and, audio and stagehand technicians that decided to pursue that professionally.
Shout out to Emily Waller, killing it.
Yeah, she was
at different concerts, traveling the country and the world, and all that stuff. I'm happy for her, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And Emily was one of those people that she kind of shown me the ropes in high school, and the more we kept on talking about it, me and her were talking. She's like, yeah, this is a realistic thing. I'm doing it. And if you have your head on right, you can do it too. And I kind of thought about it. I was like, man, I'd love to do it. And I do want to give a shout out to Jerome Hoppy. He was the Performing Arts Center overseer. He was the facilities manager for the Utica Community School District.
Right.
He was my first boss, and he was kind of the person that made me believe that it is actually realistic to do this. And he kind of set me down a track of, hey, you can do this, you can be in this business, but you will go to college. And that was his main thing with me. It was, he's like, you got to go to college. I'm like, okay. So, I still continued down the theater track. I ended up applying and going into Wayne State University at that point, and doing lighting design curriculum through the theater department. My official degree is theater design and technology with an emphasis in lighting design. But I knew that sitting in a classroom, I can learn the fundamentals through a book. But the one thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to go out there and I wanted to do it as well. And I wanted to kind of prove myself early on. So right at the age of 18, getting out of high school, I used to facilities manage a local church that came into Eisenhower High School. Kensington Church. They used to have a Shelby campus that was remote, and they did a lot of intelligent lighting designs and stuff. And through a connection with them, I was able to meet some people, and they're like, "Hey, you have a knack for this. Do you want to, come do a loadout or build a set for over here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd love to," and that kind of started growing my Rolodex, if you will, of contacts of, even if I'm just wrapping cables, pushing boxes, doing whatever, I'm getting my taste of the business. And from there, I kept on building a name for myself in that regard. And I said, "Hey, can you program?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can program. Let's go." And I started running lighting desks. I started getting trust in me to engineer and build shows kind of from the ground up. And then I got the through a mutual connection from an alumni at Wayne State. I'm now with the company that I am now called Four Wall Entertainment, and I've been doing shows ever since. And I haven't stopped probably for the last 8 years. I've been doing it for 8 years, but professionally for 4. So
No, good
I've
stuff,
been
buddy.
doing it. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely remember you. You during theater, like you knew your stuff. It
Yeah.
was you and Waller. I remember my senior year. Because mainly I would do what was it? I was on freshman year. I was what's the team that pushes out the sets and stuff like that?
Oh, I guess we just called that. We called it set crew. Really, that's the high school term. I call it stagehand, or
Yeah.
yeah,
So I was like a stagehand my freshman year.
yeah,
Mainly because I was uh I played football and wrestled that year, and then because I wrestled and our season went X amount throughout that way, but didn't get to be part of the cast. But I was a stagehand, which was pretty cool. And then of course I did the class shows and
yes,
stuff like that we would do like at the end of every year. So that was pretty fun. And then I got to be part of the cast my senior year, pretty much by accident.
yeah.
You know,
When was that? Was that Music Man?
yeah, that was Music Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So and then just kind of realizing that you were the man. Your sophomore year you were the man, and then Waller was also ahead
yeah.
of different things. Like I think she was like ahead of you on the knowledge scale,
Oh yeah.
but you were still very knowledgeable about what you were doing, which that was pretty cool.
Thank you.
Um, but other than that, you're working for or you worked for Little Caesars Arena.
They're my current contract. So I'm full time. My official position is called show staff. I'm a show staff technician for Four Wall Entertainment, and through them, we have the contract with Little Caesars Arena to do the lighting for Pistons, Red Wings. We just started doing stuff for the Detroit Lions. And then also the Tigers. We did the media days for the Detroit Tigers as well. So through Four Wall Entertainment and the Detroit branch, we were able to uh, work for the Pistons and Red Wings at Little Caesars Arena. So I'm there all the time. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, dude. I'm glad to hear that things are going well for you on that sort of aspect. So you would do the Pistons games. You would also do the lion, not the Lions, but did you ever do the Red Wings games too?
I did a little bit. So we currently have our current lighting director is Carrie Heisler. She's another former Wayne State alumni that we were actually in school together, and we kind of reminisce. We're like, dude, remember when we were doing sound for our production of Christmas Carol, and here we are doing stuff at Little Caesars. I'm like, dude, it's absolutely insane. But yeah, she's over there. She kind of oversees everything. She's the one behind the desk running all the lights, and then
Right.
I do Red Wings. I did do the 25th anniversary of the Cup when they brought back Iserman and the OG team, and they had Sir Stanley up on the pedestal, and they were doing a ceremony. I did do that. I got to do a little bit of exhibit lighting, so I got to light a lot of their jerseys out in the concourse and do that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, at Little Caesars specifically, I started doing more things over there during the 21-22 season of the Pistons. I was what we call an L2, where that's an assistant to the L1 or the lighting director, kind of facilitating things. Like I was facilitating lighting carts coming on and off the court in a timely manner during halftime shows, and it fasts forward. I did that all season, and then 2022-2023 season this year, I was the master electrician for the halftime shows. And then I was also the L2 until I started doing more corporate and auto show shows. So I kind of handed it off this year, but yeah, I'm there, all the time. If not, when I was there at the schedule I was probably there maybe 3-4 times a week, doing games and making sure everything's running smoothly. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's that's really cool. Are there any like certain like memories that you have of like being in the career that you're in?
Oh, dude. So I feel like this is going to come full circle. It's gonna link well to what we're about to talk about. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this, but I posted it, and I know for like the date was April 11th, 2022. I've locked that into my brain. I
You're Brian.
my brain my brain. Um, I did WWE. I don't know
No
if
kidding.
yeah. I was a Robo Spotlight operator for Raw, like live on network TV.
Mm-hmm.
That so going back to high school, I was like, man, it's like no matter what, I'm gonna work WWE one day. I'm gonna show you guys, and it was an ongoing gag for 8 years. Of okay, yeah, right. It's fun. It's like, but how's that going to ever happen, Cade? And I talked to Hoppy, and he's like, dude, I worked it once. I'm like, what did you do? He's like, well, do you remember that one event with the odometer on the stage? I'm like, dude, that was like the first ever, Over the Limit 2010.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the first WWE pay per view that I went to live at the Joe Louis Arena.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I did it. Yeah, I built the ring too. It was awesome. I'm like, oh man, I said, I'm jealous. I said, I'm gonna have to pick your brain, on what that was like, because that's a dream. And so after working with the crew over at LCA for a bit, I was still freelancing at the time, and I got a call from one of my fellow stagehands from the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, which is the current union that has jurisdiction over Little Caesars Arena.
Mm-hmm.
You might actually see their logo on a lot of movies and television sets. It looks like a I don't want to speak out of turn either, but it looks like a fire hydrant or like a fire logo,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got the IA symbol on it, and that's the union that ended up calling me, and they said, "Hey, you free to work at Little Caesars on Monday, the 11th of April?" And typically they don't really announce what the show is. They just say, "Hey, here's a time and a place. Show up." But I knew exactly what that meant. I was just like, "Oh, are you serious?" It's like, "Oh yeah, serious. 6 a.m. Show up." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I show up and I'm like, "This is raw. This is happening." Like 8 years of working, to get to that point of I'm gonna be working raw, and it's like I told myself, I don't care. I don't care if I'm pushing boxes, doing what. I said, as long as I can touch a road case of WWE's, I said, I feel like, if it all ended, the career ended tomorrow, I'd be set. And so essentially, I get there and they said, hey, we're gonna put you on a truss crew, which essentially is putting together the infrastructure that kind of builds around the lighting system that raises up. And I was building truss. I built two pieces of truss, and on the current Raw set, if you currently watch that big giant video wall, that they currently have on Raw and SmackDown now, I did all of the stage decking, and I built all of that. And I thought, I was originally scheduled to build it, go home, and then tear it down later that night, and all of a sudden I do hear a commotion because everyone knew that I would be, I'd be ready to go. They're like, where's Kate at? And I'm hearing that. I'm like, what is that? And the call steward comes up. It's like, hey, it's like someone's dropped out or got sick, can't do the show. Can you run a robo spotlight? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. And essentially, what a robo spotlight is, for those that are interested, it's an intelligent moving light fixture that actually hangs up into the lighting rig that has a camera attached to it, and through computer signal, essentially, um, you're looking into a big giant screen, and you're looking through a scope, and it's like an animated scope that has your camera feed on it, and you're literally operating this big giant light from the floor, and it's like a big giant video game, and you're kind of following the people you're supposed to be
Oh, that's cool.
following. Yeah.
That's cool.
And so I get there, I'm like, yeah, I can do it, let's go. And it was so funny. It was an interesting experience, for me, because I've been watching this product for 13 years,
Yeah.
and I've watched it every week. I've been to so many shows where I've kind of figured out how matches come together, and I know how they start, I know how they finish. I know the flow, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh man, this is just wrestling." I'm like, "This is WWE. Like, let's go." And I'm seeing all the superstars start arriving. I've got Cody Rhodes coming into the loading dock, and I've got.
So this was as of recent.
Oh yeah, this
then.
was it was recent. So what was great about that show and that whole experience was Cody came back last year at Mania 38,
Right.
Yeah. From the controversy. Well, not really much of a controversy, but like he left AEW at the time.
Yeah.
We didn't really know he was going to sign with WWE until he actually showed up that night. He cut a promo the next night on Raw, and then that next week they were in Detroit. So Cody was a week
It was
back.
just
Yeah.
the beginning of it. Okay.
And it was insane. And I'm a huge fan of protecting kayfabe, which is what that wrestling term of protecting character or protecting the show at all costs.
Mhm.
But I don't think anybody would say anything if I pulled back the curtain, in the sense that during rehearsals, 75% of the rehearsals for Monday Night Raw that night was just Cody's entrance. Some people would come out and they might practice their promos that night, but Cody's entrance from start to finish, they were really testing out the tech process behind, making sure the music's playing right, making sure that the pyrotechnics go off, that's funny, by the way. They blasted off Cody Rhodes' pyrotechnics without warning us on headset. And, we're behind the video wall, just following with a spotlight, and all of a sudden, bam, 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 bam. I'm like, what is going on? And I just get a call on the headset. They're like, oh man, there was pyro there. I forgot to tell you. Sorry, guys. And we're still trying to keep our hands steady, following them with this spotlight, and he's coming out, and it's live TV at that point, but.
So this was during the live show.
Oh yeah. Because all they did was they ran the smoke, like they ran the music. Cody came out a couple of times, and he kind of got a feel for what his entrance was going to be like, being on a different stage. And really, it ended up being no pyro. They're just going to do it once. They didn't really have a pyro call per se. And all of a sudden, the show starts, the lights go dark, and it's like, all right, Ms. TV, that's the next segment, guys. Stand by. Like, okay. Got Cody coming out, and everything's good. Like the smoke's coming out, like I saw during rehearsal. Like I'm seeing it through my screen. I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm singing his song. Like I love that song, dude.
I actually have that song in my weightlifting playlist.
Oh, dude, it's the best. It really is the best. And I was just like, man, this is sweet. It's like I'm living my dream right here. All of a sudden, he comes up, puts his arms up, and all of a sudden, wham, 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 wham. I'm like, what is going on? And everyone's just about falling out of their chair. Everyone's kind of cracking up. We're trying to keep our hands steady. It's like, oh, dude, yeah, I forgot. There's pyro on that. Sorry about that. I'm like, okay. So funny. But dude, yeah, that was the ultimate dream right there. Just kind of seeing how the show gets put together, and that's something that no one gets to see. You know, and everyone wonders, like
they see it like was a time lapse usually.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to see that, and much respect to the WWE guys. And they literally came from WrestleMania, doing a show. They do shows 5 times a week, and literally they get there early in the morning, like 8 in the morning, and the writers go into the writers' room, and they are figuring out, hey, what are we going to do tonight? And it's an amazing process of quickly writing an episode, going to Vince's office, which that was another thing, is Vince and Triple H are all there, and that's when you start getting the goosebumps, where it's like, man, that's Vince's office, and this is before Vince left, controversially.
So did you like pass by or anything like that?
I didn't pass by Vince. He was in production meetings, but I passed his security, so I knew he was in the building. But I passed AJ Styles. He was cool.
Are you taller than him?
I think we're probably about the same height, probably.
Okay.
I'm a little taller than I think Dominic Mysterio, because he was there that night too, before the whole Judgment Day process.
Mm-hmm.
But what is amazing about that is I was in a backstage segment. I was caught. You can see, actually, if you watch back on YouTube, I'll have to show you. Is I was a silhouetted production worker, and I did that in air quotes because they're like, hey, when this happens, look scared. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, and
now I'm kind of curious. Let's look.
Oh yeah,
let's look that up here.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So what was it?
I think if you look up Dominic Mysterio ambulance, and it was Veer. I don't want to mispronounce his name. It was Veer Mahan. I think he got attacked by.
Stereo ambulance.
Yeah, and then you can maybe put 4/11/22 for the date.
Oh yeah, Dominic Mysterio taken to the ambulance. 4/11/22.
That's
right?
it. Yeah.
All right, let's see it here.
And
see.
Yeah, and you'll see the moment he stops, the moment they all stop, if you paused it, you'll see like a silhouette of all of us just kind of going, what is going on over here?
So he taps out. He does it again. Everybody's like, come on. We need backup because this guy's crazy. This guy's nuts. He won't let go. Oh. He's on a stretcher.
There it is. So everyone, like all the superstars, are starting to crowd all over him. And you'll kind of see, like, the moment the gurney stops, there's a crowd of us in the back. You'll see a bunch of shadowed people. I was one of the taller of the two. And
so as they're loading him into the ambulance.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's put that back here. All right, so and okay, so I see other superstars.
Yeah, like kind of directly behind.
Is that Finn Balor?
Yeah, and he wasn't even on the show that night. Like all those superstars, they all come in and they still show up to work, whether they're on the show or not, and sometimes they get used for backstage segments like that. But yeah, it was like kind of
was
in
that
the back.
Kane? No, that wasn't Kane.
No, not at that time.
Kevin Owens or something like that. But
yeah,
maybe
that was fun.
I don't know. It's a little blurry, but I think I see you way in the back.
I'm in the back.
You are in the way back.
Yeah, I don't know if you see like lockers. If you see like lockers,
there,
there's
like lockers
right by those locker shelves.
Okay,
and yeah, that's kind of like our little lounge area. And they're like, hey, you're good to stay here, but like we're gonna need you to amp it up. I'm like, well, okay. I said, what's about to happen? And I'll shoot. I'll do a shoot. Because a lot of the interviews are pre-taped. And
right.
So when Dominic gets attacked, well, Raw goes live at 8. We shot that at probably 6:30.
Wow.
And what was crazy is, they're taking Dominic out and they're like, oh man, it's like, this is crazy. Like, get everybody clear out. Got to put him in the ambulance. Let's go. Let's put him in the ambulance. They go and they put him in the ambulance and everyone's freaking out. They're like, oh, let's go. They tap on the ambulance. They jet him out. Like, all right, sweet. And they're like, all right, cut. I'm like, okay. So sweet. That was cool. Awesome. I said, I wonder if something happened backstage or something they were getting ready for. Literally about maybe 3.5 minutes later, the ambulance comes backing back in. And at this point, he's got the neck brace on. He's tied to the gurney. He can't move. They've backed in. They've let Dominic back out. and they plop them back down on the gurney. And they've got like a producing staff. They're like, hey, yo, Dominic, that was really good. We're going to do that one more time, though. You got to look a little hurt more in the neck. Can you do that? It's like, oh, yeah, I can do that. It's no problem. And then what that video shown was take number 2. And we're all like, all right, everybody, let's go back. We're going to look shocked again. All right. And everyone's like, oh, man, what's going on? We've got to get them into the app. Go. And it's like, I've already done this. But I'm like, this is sweet. I said, this is the coolest
You're
thing.
like, this is take 2, baby.
Hey, this is take 2. I'm like, man, I'm in a backstage segment on Raw. I said, this is sweet, And, they had Damian Priest and AJ Styles fight backstage, too. And, he was getting rammed right into the loading dock door. I'm like, dude. I said, let's go. And he's like, all right, cut. I'm like, what? What's going on? And it's just Damian Priest and AJ Styles talking about, the storytelling they want to tell that night. And it's like, man, it's like there's so much energy going on backstage that they just want the best possible product, for the fans. And, everyone's kind of understanding that we're transforming from the days of Cena, the days of Batista, the days of all the people that we used to watch.
Uh-huh.
And it's a new generation of talent that is trying to take over. And I think after kind of seeing that firsthand, I think they're doing a fantastic job, And
yeah, I mean, it's definitely entertaining for sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see, WrestleMania weekend and see what they can come up with. Now, granted, I don't, watch it all the time.
Yeah.
I'll see like snippets on like Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I get caught up on,
I do
the storylines and stuff like that. So
yeah, I do the same thing. Like before I it was funny. Like before I worked it, I was only watching, re highlights and whatnot.
Yeah.
I kind of had moved on. I was hugely invested in the NBA and, the NHL and,
right.
And I'd occasionally watch Raw here and there, but it's, it's crazy where, when I was watching it hardcore, because I've been watching it for 13 years, like 2009.
So how old were you when you started watching?
I was 9.
You were 9.
I was 9. Yeah.
Okay.
And I got into it. I got into it playing the video game. Everyone was playing SmackDown versus Raw. That was the jam right there.
Right.
Like, I played that, and I'm glad that the video game kind of has their own like Titantron kind of thing, where it's like, oh, you get to see footage of the actual people on the game, and I'm like, man, it's like, yeah, I'd tune in. And the first episode of Raw I watched was Bob Barker doing The Price is Raw. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, they had like Chris Jericho and Santino Marella bidding for WWE items.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. I was like, what, I'll get into it, and my nana told me, she's like, you watch that? I'm like, yeah. I said, this is cool stuff. And she's like, dude, I used to watch that, right? And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. It's like, you used to watch it when Andre the Giant was there in England, when she was in England living there. She'd watch it with her mom, and it's like it became a whole family tradition of, hey, you know what, you're going to be you're the next family member to get into pro wrestling, I guess.
The English really, really love their wrestling.
They do. It's a whole different style.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
it's a great style.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your mom is English,
yes,
and your dad is not English.
Yeah, he's from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How did they meet?
They met through a mutual friend, or a mutual couple. My mom's hairstylist, is married to my dad's best friend.
Oh,
I want to say that's how they met.
Cool.
So Uncle Jason, Aunt Rebecca, shout out to you, getting my mom and dad together. You know what I mean? So that's how they met. My mom moved from England to America when she was 14, I want to say. So she's been here longer than she's been at home.
Gotcha.
And I think this year or next year, I want to say my Nana has kind of reached that milestone of she's been here longer than she's been at home at this point too. So
gotcha.
I think America's home now. But all of our family's still over there in England.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to get into the WrestleMania talk. Okay.
Yes. Oh man, I'm down for that.
All right, buddy. And we're back live from my apartment. So, you like that?
I did.
little wrestling kind of, and we're back live.
Yeah, that's great. That's
we,
great.
we did some mic adjustments. I can hear you so much clearer and so much better. So that's a plus.
That's awesome.
So thank you for tapping on the XLR cord.
Oh yeah, you're welcome, man.
Of course, having the sound and light design master electrician guy help me out with my podcast. I mean, shoot.
Oh, it's all good. I'll send you the invoice later. It's all good.
Oh yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But like I said before the break, let's talk about WrestleMania.
Yeah, man.
WrestleMania 39. It is to this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
39 years of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's gone through COVID. It's gone through different superstars, different headliners,
Yep.
different championships,
Yeah.
different cities.
Different cities, and now it's 2 nights.
And now it is 2 nights, 2023 WrestleMania. You can find it on pay-per-view or Peacock, right?
Yeah, Peacock, yeah.
Mainly Peacock, though.
Mhm.
They don't do pay-per-view anymore?
I don't think so. I don't think they've done pay-per-view in probably like maybe 5 to 7 years.
All right. Well, I was wrong. You can find it on Peacock. Just download it on Peacock. If you got Peacock, if you're a big wrestling fan like Kate is and kind of like how I am, definitely tune in to WrestleMania 39 this weekend. So, but Kate, I had a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
Because out of all the 39 WrestleManias, give me your top 3 WrestleManias.
Top 3 Manias?
Yeah.
Okay, my first one, selfishly, is WrestleMania 32. That was 2016 at the AT&T Stadium.
Okay. I remember you went there. Yeah.
I was there. I had made my WrestleMania entrance like that weekend before.
Yeah.
I had ran out to, oh man, Kalisto's music. It was like Sin Cara and Kalisto.
Yeah.
And I went out on stage and I ran. I was like, oh man, this is awesome. But just that show, like the card was amazing. You had Shane and Taker in Hell in a Cell.
Oh, that's right. You saw Shane fall from Hell in a Cell.
Right from the top. I saw him fall twice
Ooh.
live. Once was in Detroit, and then the other one was at WrestleMania 32. You had The Rock come out and have a 30-second match with Eric Rowan.
Yeah.
Man, you had like you had Shawn Michaels come out in his gear for the first time in 6 years. With Mick Foley and Steve Austin, they came out. That was probably by far the one of the greatest Mania's experiences ever. I was like, man, if I don't go to Mania again, I said that I'm glad.
So that's number one.
That's number one for me.
Okay.
I want to say, number 2. I've got to say, WrestleMania 14. That was Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin main event.
I would have to agree with you on that one.
Mike Tyson as the commissioner.
Yeah,
dude.
As great. The what was it, that second referee or something like that?
Yeah,
enforcer. Man. That's what
the
it was.
Enforcer. That's what it was called. Yeah,
yeah.
That was cool. I loved that one. Man.
You had Rock and oh God, he was with the Iron Sheik. The Sultan.
Okay. Yeah.
Rock and the Sultan. Rocky Johnson came out.
Yes.
So that was pretty cool.
Absolutely. Was he with the Nation at the time? Like the Nation of Domination? Or he was probably done with it at that point?
Hold on. Nope. I'm sorry.
We gotta get
the exact facts here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All about the analytics. It's so funny. Like, when I talk about wrestling, everyone talks about like the 80s and like Hulk Hogan and everything. But I'm like, dude, when I talk about pro wrestling with someone, like I'm going to talk to them. Like I got to talk about like the show aspect.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
All right. So let's see. There's the tag team battle royal, which Legion of Doom with Sonny won.
Wow. Yeah.
Which that was awesome.
Yeah.
The lightweight heavyweight championship with Taka Michinoku defeating Iguala. It was like it was like Japanese and Mexican wrestling, which was awesome to watch because they were just high flying and everything.
Yeah.
It was just entertainment as all can be. European Championship, Triple H with China, and it was against Owen Hart.
Oh my gosh!
Triple H beat Owen, and that storyline was just cool to watch because China was handcuffed to Sergeant Slaughter,
Yes.
and China threw powder or whatever into Sergeant Slaughter's face and then just rooted up her arm right into Owen Hart's groin. And that's how Triple H won the match.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Rest in peace, Owen Hart and
Yeah.
China, man.
Yeah. Okay, so it was the Intercontinental Championship. It was The Rock with Nation of Domination, and he defeated Ken Shamrock. But it was only because there was a reverse decision when Shamrock would not release the ankle lock and started belly to bellying like the referees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So because it was like his this is a dangerous man kind of thing. But no, The Rock against the Sultan was the year before. It was 13.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Mixed tag match. It was Mark Merrow and Sable defeating the artist formerly known as Goldust and Luna,
Yes.
which that was great. Taker and Kane was that WrestleMania
Yep.
for the first matchup.
That was sweet.
That was awesome. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin against Shawn Michaels. So I mean, it was
Stacked card.
stacked card for sure. WrestleMania 14 was a good one. And then what would be your third one?
Man. Number 3. Oh, I can go in so many different directions. One that comes to my mind right now. I might have to say WrestleMania 25, 2009 main event, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. That first one.
Yeah.
That first match that set
Was
off.
that the first match?
Yeah.
I could have sworn that was the second.
Yeah. The second one was 26. That was his retirement. That was Shawn's retirement. But it was like a 4-year storyline. Like it started in 09 with the first one. 26 was Shawn's retirement. 27 was Triple H and Taker. 28 was Shawn coming back into it as a referee when they faced each other Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
28 was a stacked card.
And that was the end of the era match.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I thought, like, if Taker retired at that point, I would have been happy with it.
Yeah.
Just, it was a perfect ending to it.
Same. But he wasn't happy with it.
No. Or he might have been happy with it, but I think he felt deep down that he could have a few more great matches. And I'm glad he did, because I wouldn't have seen him at Mania in 32, Hell in a Cell, you know.
Right. Well, that was after he that was before he retired, but that was after the streak.
Yes. See, that was a different vibe too.
Yeah.
I really wish I had went to a WrestleMania that had the streak.
Yeah.
Because that everyone's just on their toes. But on my opinion, I don't think the streak should not have ended. I mean, unless the opponent was worthy. I mean, Lesnar is a worthy opponent, but I was not ready for that to happen.
Nobody was. That's why they did it. That's why they did it. But also another, if you look kind of more into it, I have a feeling that because Undertaker was concussed.
Yeah, 10 minutes in.
Yeah. I think that when that happened.
Oh, you think they called it then?
Yeah.
That's an interesting theory. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way.
Could have been that. Or it was, Brock was going to defeat him, because Brock and Mark Calloway have a good respect for each other.
They do.
Yeah.
Everyone still brings up that interview at UFC when Brock was still a part of UFC and Taker was in the crowd, and that's kind of like the first interview I saw of Taker out of kayfabe. I was like, oh my God, it's like, this is crazy. It's like, he's not really dead, and then he looks at him, he's like, hey, you want to do it again? And like maybe 2 years later, Lesnar was
like,
back.
hey, you want to go?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But Lesnar is a brute force, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nobody was ready for that, which I think that was the whole point.
Yeah, I think so. I think I don't think there was anyone on the roster at that point that could end it. I think Lesnar was one of the only ones, if not the only one to do it. So
yeah,
you got to respect the decision.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone was ready. I think Vince was ready for it. Vince was ready for it to end. But yeah, dude, it's one of those things. I mean, that's what makes pro wrestling. Everyone thinks that they have the answers. They're like, oh man, this is so predictable, blah 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 blah. But then the moment something twists, it's like, oh man, can't even talk. It's like you're speechless. I think that's what attracts me to it. Is the surprises.
So what was your third choice again?
25.
25. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
25.
Yeah, mine would be hmm. I know number 3 would have to be number 3. WrestleMania 3.
Pontiac Silverdome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck, I just fucked it up. Sorry. God bless me, Gorilla Monsoon. I'm so sorry. It's such an iconic thing.
Oh man, I don't even know if I can say it. I'm getting my tongue twied.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Magnificent, unedited, unscripted.
That's it.
Is the pod that says, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Is the immovable force meets the immovable object.
That's it.
Yes.
Oh man, Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan,
or something like that.
That was the best.
So yeah, I would say 3 is number 3, WrestleMania 3.
Yeah.
Let's look at the card here.
Oh man, dude, that was a stat card too.
1987. Of course.
Oh, they're actually in the crowd during that one.
Oh, that's Wikipedia. Don't want that. There we go.
When you had a Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man.
So we had the full Nelson challenge. It was Billy Jack Haynes against Hercules.
Yeah.
Let's see. Loser bows match. King Harley race with Bobby the Brain Heenan and the Fabulous Moolah against Junkyard Dog.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So yeah, the JYD.
The JYD. Yeah.
Right.
Great guy.
Let's see. It looks like there's a bunch of matches.
Yeah. What was it? That was the one with the Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat, right? That was the IC title.
What's that?
Macho Man.
Yeah, Macho Man.
Yeah.
That was that match.
It's like Tito Santana, I think, was on the card too.
Yeah.
I've actually seen him wrestle. Were you there when he wrestled in that at the Fraser Hockey Arena?
Who's that?
You.
Oh, I know
weren't
me.
You there? Oh, Tito Santana. He wrestled that night, didn't he? It was like he wrestled at WrestleMania 3, but he's still doing independent shows.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase was there.
Yep.
I remember the Nasty Boys were there. I remember Billy Gunn was there, but I can't quite remember.
Oh man.
I mean, I didn't watch the whole show. I watched bits and pieces of it. Like I remember when, Billy Gunn said, like, and if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it. So yeah, I mean, I remember that, but and a couple other things, like when I would stop and just watch. But I was interning with WRF at the time.
Yeah.
So I was actually having to work instead of watch. So unfortunately, but no, I mean, there's a bunch of them. Like there's the Can-Am Connection defeating Cowboy Bob Orton and the Magnificent Don Morocco.
Gee.
Then you got Billy Jack Hayes against Hercules, Hillbilly Jim, Little Beaver, and Haiti Kid, and the Haiti Kid defeating King Kong Bundy, Lord Littlebrook, and Little Tokyo. Oh God, now I get what it was. Hillbilly Jim and King Kong Bundy were going against each other.
Yeah.
And Little Beaver and the Haiti Kid and Lord Littlebrook and Little Tokyo, they were midgets.
That's right.
I totally forgot about that. It was a midget match with 2 giant people.
Dude, they were huge though too.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. And then King Kong Bundy flattened Little Beaver.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
1987, ladies and gentlemen.
I know.
Oh,
yeah, those guys be paving the way for people like Swoggle and Swoggle,
Yeah. But yeah, so then you got King Harley Race against JYD, and then the Dream Team, Bruce Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine. That's who that was.
Oh yeah.
And then with Luscious Johnny Valiant and Dino Bravo defeat the Rougeau brothers.
Yeah. Dude, it was stacked. I mean, that's what's crazy about it is there's such a smooth transition from the stacked roster that they had.
Yeah. And then you got Roddy Piper
Yeah,
against the adorable Adrian Adonis.
yeah,
Hart Foundation and the dangerous Danny Davis with Jimmy Hart against the British Bulldogs and Tito Santana.
there he was. There's
Yep.
Tito. Yeah,
The Natural Butch Reed against Coco Beware. And then the Intercontinental Championship between Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Macho Man Randy Savage.
yeah, that still goes down as probably one of the best matches that's ever happened.
Ricky ended up winning the title.
Yeah,
The Honky Tonk Man against against Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah,
They
they had some real heat backstage about that.
Oh yeah, because he used a grill guitar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you got Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik against the Killer Bees.
Oh yeah.
And then the main event of the evening was Hulk Hogan against Andre the Giant.
That was a classic.
Yeah. So WrestleMania 3, I really did enjoy. WrestleMania 14, I'd have to put at number 2.
Number 2.
And then I don't know, like the best one that I absolutely enjoyed. Let's check out WrestleMania 23, shall we?
23, Detroit.
Possibly.
Ford Field.
Possibly.
You gotta think about that one though, because like Money in the Bank happened where Jeff Hardy comes off the top of the ladder right on the edge, laying right across that ladder at the ringside, man. You had Taker and Batista that night.
Mm-hmm.
Cena and Michaels. What else did they have? They had Trump. They had Donald Trump versus Vince McMahon in that hair versus hair match.
Mm-hmm.
When they shaved Vince's hair off, bro. And they had like Steve Austin come in as the guest referee.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I'd say 23.
What a night.
I'd say 23.
Trump came in and had them like rain fake $100 bills with his face on it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you got Mr. Kennedy won the Money in the Bank ladder match against Edge, CM Punk, King Booker, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Finley, and Randy Orton.
Wow, I forgot Randy Orton was in that match.
Yeah. Then you got the Great Khali and Kane. United States Championship match against Chris Benoit and Montel Ventavious Porter, also known as MVP.
Wow, Chris Benoit, that's a name.
World Heavyweight Championship match, The Undertaker against Batista, which he ended up winning the world title.
Yeah.
The ECW Originals defeat the New Breed.
So it
was like ECW against ECW.
Yeah.
It was like old against new.
Did you ever watch that show? Like when you watched
ECW?
Like the WWE's rendition of ECW?
Kind of sometimes, but like I don't know. I think it was when I was getting out of it. I don't know. I don't exactly know. I know it was bad, and I'm glad I didn't watch it as much.
It was so weird.
Yeah. Hair versus hair match. Bobby Lashley with Donald Trump defeats Umaga with Vince McMahon and Armando and Alejandro Estrada.
Alejandro. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then Lumberjill match, WWE Women's Championship match. Melina defeats Ashley, which Ashley was a stunner, dude.
Oh man, rest in peace. Also,
yeah,
man, I miss Ashley.
Ashley was like, I feel like she definitely vibed with the crowd because she was like beautiful and she was like this hot blonde, but she also could authentic, and she could relate with the crowd, and she just had this like punky, like I don't give a shit attitude, which I absolutely loved. And then WWE Championship match, John Cena defeats Shawn Michaels.
So good.
Which that was storytelling in of its own.
Yes, agreed.
Because they were world heavyweight tag team champions.
Dude, you're right. Yeah. They were tag champs.
Yeah.
And then they ended up
world
being in the main
tag team
event.
champs or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'd say 23.
23, yeah.
23.
Was good.
Yeah, 23 and then 14 and then 3 for me.
Nice.
So I don't know. I just find that very enjoyable. I mean, um, Shawn Michaels' entrance at WrestleMania 12, where he comes down from the rafters.
On that zip line.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that will never be duplicated
Oh, I don't think so.
ever.
I don't think so. I think that was the last time WWE used a zip line.
Yeah,
You know, because of the whole controversy with Owen at the time.
yeah,
You know, I mean that was a whole ordeal.
yeah,
You know, but no, I loved that entrance. That entrance was great.
yeah. It's iconic.
It is. It
I mean,
absolutely
that
is.
was the Iron Man match, which I'll be honest, that shouldn't. I mean, I don't know why that even happened. The Iron Man match.
Really.
Yeah, I don't get why it happened.
I thought it was good.
Just have good storytelling.
No, I get you.
Have good storytelling. Battle it out.
Yeah.
You don't have to do an Iron Man match where you're 0-0 the entire time, and then all of a sudden a
Going
super
over
kick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you do sweet chin music, and then you win it. It's like,
yeah.
really? So
I mean, but dude, with standing an hour like that, you know,
yeah,
like I guess they were trying to prove like Sean and Brett like they are the top of the top. Like
yeah,
they can't get one over on each other. But that was great storytelling in its own because they actually really hated each other. You know what I mean?
No, they didn't hate each other at that time.
No,
They
okay,
hated
so it
each
was
other
later.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Survivor Series, man. Survivor Series 97. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm like I my whole brain is a whole encyclopedia. Like I love just the whole timeline of how the company has changed over time.
Yeah, I agree.
It's awesome.
I definitely agree. The fact that, it's gone from territorial, just in New York to, Vince McMahon, now, like, so for those that know, Vince McMahon Sr. was the original promoter and owner of what was then WWF.
Yep. Yeah.
And then Vince McMahon, Vincent
Kennedy, yeah.
Kennedy McMahon, he took over and started doing things back in 82. Yeah, so he started doing that stuff in 82, and then by 84 Hulkamania was running wild and he defeated the Iron Sheik, and then by 85 WrestleMania had started. So it's so let's see, it's 39. So do you think they're gonna do excuse me, so do you think they're gonna do something special for 40, or are they gonna just keep going until 50?
Oh man, I think so. I mean, I feel like every decade that they achieve, I think they do something special.
Yeah,
50,
I've noticed
50 is definitely going to be.
It's going to be the biggest showcasing of the Immortals.
Yeah,
for sure.
Agreed.
So, let's look at the card. Or actually, I had it on my phone. I don't have to look it up on my laptop.
What was the card for this weekend?
Well, okay. So, first off, I saw this and I figured you would absolutely enjoy this. Are you a big Avengers fan?
Oh man, yeah.
Check that out.
Dude.
Yeah, Endgame look.
Yeah,
but it's WrestleMania.
They got Cena in the forefront.
Yeah,
they got Mysterio flying. They got everybody.
Yeah,
I like Cody up over top, looking over everyone. They got Roman in the star. Roman is Thanos. That's awesome, dude. Yeah. WrestleMania goes Hollywood, man. Like you got to do those movie posters all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, because it is WrestleMania Saturday, I'll tell you from top to bottom, and then you give me your top 3 favorite that you're gonna that you're excited for.
Okay.
So it's gonna start off with Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders in a WrestleMania showcase match. Okay, so that's like the opening match.
Okay.
Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. Seth freaking Rollins versus Logan Paul. Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus versus Damage Control. The Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in the Undisputed Tag Team Championship match. Then you got Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley in the SmackDown Women's Championship match, and John Cena versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship match.
Ooh.
Give me your top three, third being first, like you start off with third and then you just build up to number one.
Okay.
Okay.
Dude, but that's just Saturday.
And that's just Saturday.
Got a whole
yeah.
WrestleMania Sunday to follow all that. You
Exactly.
know?
Exactly.
Dude, okay, so number three. Number three, I've got to say I'm really excited for the Trish, Lita, and Becky Lynch match with Damage Control.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of reasons. I think Lita was probably one of my favorite female competitors of all time.
She kicked ass, man.
Absolutely. I mean, from her start from the Hardy Boys, and the fact that she goes and retires in 2006, 2007, maybe around the same time as Trish.
No, because around 2006, 2007, she was with Edge. I mean,
you're right.
She was his valet, or his girlfriend, quote unquote.
It must have been the end of 07 then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think it was Trish left Unforgiven 06.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the fact, dude, like when they all came back at the first Rumble, like the first female Rumble in 18,
yeah,
you knew for a fact that they could still go. And
yeah.
it's just like, man, it's like now they're coming back. Becky Lynch and Lita are tag champions right now, which there is, I don't know.
Which I don't know why they're not doing a tag champion. Oh, because it's a triple threat match. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or not a triple threat. It's, you know what I mean?
The
six man, yeah. It's 6-woman tag match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's amazing. Like the fact that this is something that you can never take away from Lita also. I'll say this too, because it's a great statistic, is every main event that Lita has been a part of on Raw from 2001, 2005, and 2023. That was the 3 times she was main eventing a Raw. She has won a title, which is crazy.
Oh, that's a good statistic.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, that's good.
And
I like that.
It's in like multiple different decades too. You know, kind of spanning. I was like, man, that's amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that one. If I was protecting the kayfabe again, I'd say I wasn't a fan of Bayley, but I'm deep down a huge fan of Bayley as well, and she's gone through a heck ton of stumbles and turmoils in terms of injury, and whenever she came back to Mania, it was without an audience, or she's been battling injury. But the fact that she's actually going to go toe to toe with the legends that she's looked up to is going to be a great match, and I think they're going to put together an amazing performance.
Yeah, because wasn't she a huge fan of Lita?
Yeah, huge fan. I think there was a video of her. There was a video of AJ Lee crying at Lita's table when she was signing autographs. I think it was one of them. Like Bayley was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
So that match,
that would be number 3.
That would be number 3. Because I love all those girls. Match number 2. Match number 2. I want to say I'm looking forward to Cena and Theory.
Okay. Now, are they in the main event for Saturday?
No.
Because it seems like it.
You know what? I heard rumors that they were starting the card. I thought it was going to be Cena starting it off. But I do understand Strowman in that match being first too. But
yeah, but by the way that's looking, and it's from WWE.
Yeah, it looks like they're Instagram on the marquee page. There. Yeah,
it looks like they are main eventing Saturday.
Yeah.
Which I personally think that it should be Ray and Dominic.
Ooh, that would be a good main event. I thought you were going to go, because I was naturally going into the direction of
Charlotte and Rhea Ripley.
I was going Kevin and Sammy because of how much pop that Sammy's getting nowadays.
Yeah.
Dude, the moment they hugged it out a couple weeks ago,
yeah,
man, that crowd went ballistic. I was like, man, it's like you can't defeat that.
So, so number 2, John Cena and Austin Theory, huh?
I'd say so. I mean, just for nostalgia's sake, because I grew up a major Cena fan,
right?
And I know it was crazy. Like he sent out a tweet, I think, like a couple weeks ago when he came back to cut that promo on Austin. It was
gotcha.
Like he was just like, I wasn't sure coming out of it, like if he was going to come back.
All right. Well, we're going to talk more about that, but real quick, we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah, let's do that.
And we're back once again. All right, so you were talking about Austin Theory and the John Cena match for the United States Championship.
Yep.
In my opinion, I honestly feel like this is John Cena's big show John Cena moment
Yep. Yeah.
at WrestleMania 20.
20.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, no, that's a good comparison. Because I think what will make this match go so well is Vince, before he left, put all of his trust in Austin Theory. You know, he's like, I'm looking for my new guy. I'm Vince's man, like Vince McMahon's chosen protege. But nobody wanted to believe it because I don't think Austin really knew who he was. You know, he was still trying to make it. He made it to the main roster.
8 Town Down.
8 Town Down. Yeah, dude.
I'm like, what?
And I think a lot of the superstars are still trying to figure out, you know, who they are now, because everyone was living in Cena's shadow, you know, for a long time, and they're like, oh well, no one's going to replace Cena. But then Cena's like, deuces, going to Hollywood, just like Rock did.
Yeah.
You know, now they're trying to figure out, oh well, we'll just shove Roman in everybody's faces, which I wasn't a fan of. I'm still not. I was never really much of a Roman fan. But with this Cena and Austin match, I think Cena, and my prediction for this is Cena's going to put Austin over. I think, logistically speaking, like, since he's in Hollywood, I don't think he'd be able to defend a championship regularly.
No.
I do think Austin will go over.
And plus, he's older now.
He is older, and he wants to enjoy life and enjoy what he's doing now.
Yeah.
But Austin going over, I think, will definitely prove that, hey, Vince chose me for a reason. Me putting over one of the greatest, I wouldn't say pro wrestlers, but one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time, 16-time champion.
Yeah.
That would add some credibility to Austin Theory's character or resume, really. And I think that might draw to being, Austin's going to be a good heel once he, you know, pummels, you know, Cena's face in the dirt, you know. Yep. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Because in all honesty, I feel like when's Money in the Bank?
Usually happens in July, but they've been putting pay-per-views in like different spots, and I'm like, that's another thing I'm not a fan of. Like, I like knowing that January Rumble's happening,
yeah,
February Chambers happening, but like now they've been
March/April
WrestleMania, you know, and then they're adding like Fastlane, and then they do like 2 Saudi shows, and it's like I have no idea what the next pay-per-view is at this point anymore, you know. But
Money in the Bank, I personally think, like, when that comes down to it, Austin Theory will win it
again.
Oh shit, that's right,
dude. He won it
again.
But I thought that was the ultimate funniest thing Triple H ever did as a new creative, as saying, "Hey, we're gonna have you win Money in the Bank, but joke's on you." They're like, "What am I gonna do? I'm gonna cash in for the world title?" Oh no, you're gonna cash in for the U.S. title, and you're gonna lose. Like, that's what he did. He cashed in on the U.S. title, and then he lost it. And I was like, man, that was weird. But it must have been done for a reason. I mean, maybe just Triple H didn't think he was, you know, he was ready. But Vince did, you know. But yeah.
So that was number 2. Number 1, back to number 1, or I'm sorry, back to number 3 was your Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, Lita, against Damage Control. So that was number 3.
Yep.
Number 2, John Cena, Austin Theory.
Yep.
Your number 1 match for WrestleMania Saturday of WrestleMania 39.
Dominic and Ray.
Absolutely.
Got to do it.
No doubt.
But it's, once again, like we talked about Cena doing the whole nostalgia thing for me. Ray and Dominic is the new Eddie and Ray. In that respect.
Brother, I am with you on that one.
It is a storyline that has spanned, on my opinion, since 2005. And I picture this match as a continuous storyline that has happened since 2005, where you got Ray and Eddie competing for Dominic's custody.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden they've got Dominic in the mix, coming in sporadically as a kid, but then when he became of age, getting a contract, oh, well, first father and son champions. Then they're going to go on the singles route. Then now it's, you know, Dominic turning on Ray, you know, all of a sudden now growing the mullet, which I'm like, dude, that's an Eddie staple.
And
right
everybody
there.
was saying that.
Yeah.
Like, why is he looking like Eddie?
Dude.
Why is he looking like Eddie?
And I'm like, man, I was like, what a way to tell a story. And then all of a sudden you've got Dominic doing the Three Amigos and doing the old, like, chest shimmy and
Yeah,
it's
the
like,
shoulder
oh,
shimmy.
yeah, oh my gosh, Viva la Raza, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
dude,
Olejos.
I loved Eddie Guerrero, man. Like I still do. I miss him. But to have that come in full circle, saying Dominic's like, oh, I wish Eddie was my father, and
Oh, when that happened, I was like, oh shit, this is awesome.
I was just like, dang. I think what a way to close out Rey Mysterio's career than to put a sock in Dominic's mouth, celebrate his Hall of Fame career that he celebrated last night. Per this recording, is last night happened.
Mhm.
But also it's just an ultimate closing to his career. But it's going to be an interesting in terms of my prediction for that though. I have no idea where that's going to go. Logically speaking, it's got to go in Ray's because Ray's a Hall of Famer. He's going to retire. I have a feeling he's going to retire tonight. And then just move on. But there's a part of me that's like, just like the Austin and Cena thing. If Dominic doesn't go over, what is next for Dominic? And I'm trying to thinking about the storylines that are going to be happening after this match happens. Where
I look at it like this: what happened with Austin and Rock when Austin left WWE?
well, Rock had to carry the reins for a while.
Austin lost, right?
Yeah,
What happened when Andre passed the torch to Hogan?
he
He lost, right?
Yeah, he lost. He slowly retired.
Yeah.
And he passed.
Ray's losing tonight.
Okay.
Every time somebody moves on, that's just common in the wrestling business.
I'd say so.
If you're going to retire, you're most likely going to retire on your back.
Yeah, I would agree. Michaels did the same thing.
Ric Flair did the same thing.
Dude, that iconic moment.
Think about it.
Shawn Michaels going, "I'm sorry, I love you," kicks him
Yeah.
right in the face.
Yeah.
Dude.
Think about it.
Do you think the
same
match...
thing with Cena? Cena's going to lose tonight.
And then Cena's probably he's going to be gone, I think.
Yeah.
Because he was in
He'll
tears.
make some appearances and
Sure.
everything like that, like
Sure.
Hogan does and Austin does, but
yeah. Dude, let me ask you this. Do you think this match would go over better if Dominic and Ray were both faces? Like
no.
As they were still champions, it would just be a competitive match.
No.
I don't think so either. I honestly think
it's got to be the storytelling.
The Judgment Day was the best thing that ever happened to Dominic.
Yeah, everybody's like, "What? Why?
Why?"
This is why. This is exactly why.
I don't believe they should have kicked Edge out as soon as they did.
No, they should have made it well, they already have it as a foursome. They should have it as a fivesome because if you look at like Nation of Domination, you look at DX,
DX
all these
at their fullest, yeah.
Even like the Four Horsemen, even though there were four wrestlers, you still had
New World Order.
Yeah. You look at all these guys that were like factions that had more than four people.
Yeah.
So I know a faction is originally like four people.
Yeah.
Like Evolution, Four Horsemen, stuff like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But having it be like a gang thing where it's like just a group of people in there,
I think it's great.
I like it. I think they should bring back more factions.
I think so. The Nexus. Do you remember the Nexus when the Nexus came in?
Yeah.
My jaw dropped the moment I saw that season 1 NXT crew come in and literally destroy the ring, destroy the set,
and destroy John Cena.
Destroy John Cena. Dude, that was insane. But like, especially as a production guy too, it's like, oh man, you're destroying the stage that I just spent 8 hours building. But
I think the show was ending, and that was the last part of the show. So they were like, all right, cool, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, hey, you just did half the load out for us by ripping up this ring. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it's crazy. It's so funny.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So I totally forgot to do the dad joke of the episode.
Oh, shoot.
At the beginning of the episode. Usually I'm good on that, but
okay.
I totally forgot. I was so amped up and so busy with wrestling stuff, and like I was telling you earlier, after we do this podcast, my dad and I were gonna We're gonna go over to my dad's house. We're gonna eat some chili cheese fries and watch good old WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna do the same thing with my nana.
Before we get on to WrestleMania Sunday,
Yeah.
Figured I'd tell you the dad joke of the episode. All right. So, like I said, this is the dad joke of the episode. So, now that I've said that, let's see. Okay. So, you were in theater, right?
Oh yeah.
Right? Peter Pan
Mm-hmm.
is a theater show, right?
Yeah, it is.
What's Peter Pan's favorite place to eat out?
I have no idea.
Wendy's.
Oh man.
And that was the dad joke of the episode.
Oh yeah. Okay. That was good. That caught me off guard for 0.5 seconds. I was like, what's going on over here? Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I love that segment. That was a great segment.
Yeah, thanks. All right, so back to WrestleMania. So WrestleMania Sunday includes
Wendy's.
No. It does not include Wendy's.
Oh man.
It includes Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalia and Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green in a WrestleMania showcase match. Then it is Brock Lesnar versus Omos, the Great Omos. And then Edge versus Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell match. Gunther versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus in an Intercontinental Championship match. In an Intercontinental Championship triple threat match. Then you got Bianca Belair versus Asuka in Raw Women's Championship match, and the head of the table, Roman Reigns versus the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So your top three.
Okay. Oh, number 3. I will do Bianca and Asuka for the women's title.
Okay.
Bianca Belair, by the way, probably one of my favorite superstars of the modern era right now.
Is it because of her hair?
I think it adds to it. Just her personality and her, just her character in general. The music too. I'll bop around to that music, man. Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
It's good. Yeah. For those of you that don't watch, YouTube Bianca Belair's theme song, and you're going to be like, oh man, let's go. I'm ready. Let's get this money.
I personally get down with Becky Lynch's, but
Becky Lynch's is good too.
Teach your own.
That's true. That one will be a really good one. Okay. So, yeah, man, it's a close. So when I say number 2, it's a very close second to number 1.
Okay.
Edge and Balor.
Okay.
Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Just because I like Edge's old school mentality of what pro wrestling is, and I think using Hell in a Cell to his advantage is going to create a lot of psychology or psychological.
Now, has Finn Balor ever been in a Hell in a Cell match?
I don't think he has.
But Edge has.
Edge has.
Multiple times.
With Taker, too.
With Taker, yes.
Oh, yeah. Dude. So that'll be good. I'm really looking forward to that because I like what Triple H is doing now with creative. I heard rumors, I think it's true, that he's cut the whole Hell in a Cell pay-per-view out of the equation. I don't think they're having
it. Should be a match.
It should be a match because
pay-per-view.
When you have a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell, you have no choice but to build to having a Hell in a Cell match.
Just like the Elimination Chamber.
Exactly. You should just, that should be a surprise thing. It's like, oh, it's going to be in Hell in a Cell. It's like, oh my gosh, this is barbaric. Like, certain stories need to be told in Hell in a Cell, not
absolutely
once every year,
Absolutely.
So I'm very looking forward to that match in its new concept in a sense.
Yeah.
And then number 1, I got to do Cody and Roman.
Yeah. I would have to kind of tweak it.
Do a
what you
little
said.
finagling.
So for Saturday, I got number 3 as Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley. Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Number 2, um, this is tough.
Yup.
Number 2, I would have to say Usos and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Okay.
And then number 3, Ray and Dominic.
Yeah, dude, tonight's gonna be awesome.
Then for WrestleMania Sunday, for my personal opinion, it goes number 3, Gunther versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus.
That'll be good.
Then you got number 2, Edge and Finn Balor, and then number 3, Roman and Cody.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. That Gunther match is going to be good. I mean, especially with the performance he had at the Rumble.
yeah.
That kind of put him on the map going, oh, maybe I should pay attention to this guy.
And what's really cool is like he's lost so much weight, from when he first started.
Yeah.
So, and like they're pushing him pretty good. So, and the fact that you got a German and then you got a Scottish and you got Irish in there. So
you've got that.
You got the European kind of. Speaking of which, they need to bring back the European title.
Oh, dude, agreed.
Like,
yeah, European title is one of those underrated titles that they most certainly need to bring back.
Yeah,
I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I think it'd be awesome. I would even dare say bring back the hardcore title and eliminate that 24/7 title that they have going on right now.
No, the hardcore title. I mean, no.
You weren't a fan of the hardcore title?
No, because it was just like the 24/7 title where it was just like it. I mean, there's no storyline behind it.
No, there isn't. It was just a bunch of running around, just like 24/7 was.
It was just to get people that weren't doing well.
Yep.
On the lower card. To. Yeah. No, I didn't like it.
It was cool when they had sanctioned matches for it, but like half the time they weren't. They weren't sanctioned matches.
If you're gonna do a hardcore title, be hardcore.
Be hardcore.
That's it.
Yeah, get the.
If you're gonna be a hardcore title holder, be a hardcore champion.
Yeah, get the thumbtacks out, man.
Get the thumbtacks, the kendo sticks, even chairs, tables. I don't care. You could do a chairs match for tape. You could honestly do a TLC match for the hardcore title.
Oh, easily.
And I wouldn't give a shit. But if you're just running around and just pinning people on concrete, no. Rolling people up on concrete or whatever.
Go to the Carnival Funhouse, wherever that playground, like McDonald's play place was.
Yeah.
You would go into Funhouseville and
I'm out.
Oh,
no, that's not hardcore.
Oh, that's called I'm riding down a slide and then pinning the guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no, but the European title, I feel like with the X amount of people that are from England,
that'd be cool.
All that stuff, and then if they wanted to, men and women could challenge for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but they have NXT UK. Like in that whole division.
Yeah.
Bring back the European title over there and then slowly.
If you want to, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that'd be great.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that was our predictions. But lastly, we got a couple more minutes. Figured, we talk about, but other than that, so we've grown up with each other.
We have, yeah.
So, you graduated with my brother Zach and grew up with him, and our families were pretty close as we were growing up and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Did you and your brother do Cub Scouts, right?
Oh, we did. We did briefly there. Probably for a couple of years. You know what? I want to say I went through the whole Cub Scouts process, and then when we transitioned to Eagle Scouts, that's when we stopped.
That's kind of how I was too.
Yeah.
Or what was it? Boy Scouts.
Right? Boy Scouts. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was too. Where it was like I went through Cub Scouts and then stopped once it got to actual Boy Scouts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was just something that we could do when we were kids and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
does your brother still do the Civil War reenactments?
Oh man, he's crazy about it still. But he's gone
Is
as
he
far
growing
as
facial hair like for that kind of thing?
oh man, yeah. Well, if he's still yet to grow the facial hair out, I think, but
Can he grow facial hair?
he's got a little facial hair going, I think. I think he chooses not to have it.
Really?
Yeah. I keep my beard. I got a beard going.
Yeah, you got a
Um
nice looking goatee. It looks real good.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, dude, he goes full character. He did Civil War reenacting for a long time, and then he slowly started getting into the realms of World War II. He'll do World War One, Japan.
Reenactments?
Oh yeah, all over the place. And from there, like he gets employed a lot now to talk at schools. Like he'll travel, to different cities and do a lecture on stuff. Um, he'll do stuff at Greenfield Village over in Dearborn.
Yeah.
Reenacts there, gets paid for it. He does all that stuff now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, all in the midst of he's a welding teacher now at Stevenson.
Get out.
Yeah, he helped build the MAID program over there, and he's like an overseer of welding students, and he's bringing them up to competitions. And he himself he got second in the state in welding, and he's really good. He's really good at it.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, man.
awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Well, congratulations, Callan, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Really happy for you, buddy. So he's a teacher then, or
Yeah, he's like
a teacher's assistant.
teacher's assistant for
Okay.
right now, but he's he could definitely teach if he had to. Like
Like if the teacher was sick or something.
yeah, oh yeah. He does that all the time. He's going for his certifications now, I think. But yeah, I think if he wanted to go back to school, he'd be a great teacher. He was never much of a school person, so he'd rather he went through the trades side of things, and he's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm just gonna do it.
So he's not gonna try and get a teaching.
I don't think so. I don't think he has the he'll even say it himself. I don't think he has the patience for sitting in a classroom. He's very hands-on with
That's
the
fine.
stuff. Oh, it's perfect.
The classroom isn't for everybody.
No.
Sometimes you got to be hands-on.
Absolutely.
That's
how I learned. Like I knew like getting my my piece of paper was very important, getting my degree, but all my experience was getting hands-on with it. That's why I decided to work while I was at school,
Right.
and yeah, it's great. That's the only way you can really get experience is if you get hands-on with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some things you can't get hands-on about, and that's just how some people are, but
Yeah.
when you're doing something that you're going to be physically hands-on, you got to learn hands-on stuff. Like
Yeah.
learning by book and everything like that, that's great and all, but
Mhm.
it's like, let me do it.
Right.
Let me get the repetition and
Yeah. Muscle memory.
yeah, and I'll learn.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's cool. Yeah, he's doing a really good job
yeah.
there. Yeah.
No, but that's awesome, dude. I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that he's doing well, that you're doing well.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to that everything is going well for you guys, and that we're from little kids on up, everything is looking great and wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
It's awesome.
yeah.
It's awesome. And I think back about it a lot too. Like it was so funny. Like you got the actual podcast coming on here now. So congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, buddy. I
like,
appreciate that.
You've got the setup going on over here. It was so funny. Like it was many years since I had talked to Zach.
Mhm.
And then me and Justin Van Ecker.
Yeah, shout out to JV.
Yeah. We ended up contacting him. We're like, hey, we during the pandemic, it's like it would be cool if we did like a talk show on Zoom or something and did this stuff. And we did one of them. And
did you guys do like a hot wing kind of thing?
Oh yeah, me and Justin did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did with a hot wing challenge with McDonald's chicken nuggets. And we ended up getting a lot of the sauces that were on like the Hot Ones shows.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, those sauces are absolutely insane. So we tried to do that over the pandemic, but it never, it never stuck. But
yeah,
just seeing like, it was great catching up with your brother when I did, and it was so funny. I was circling around your place today, and
yeah,
I could not find your place to begin with, and I was like, Zach, and I ended up trying to call him, but I texted him like, hey, you gotta give me your brother's number here. I was like, he contacted me through Instagram, but I don't know if my internet's working. Like, what's going on over here? But No, I've always loved hanging out with your brother, and the fact that, you know, I'm seeing everyone on Facebook and social media now, and, you know, seeing what everyone else is up to is awesome, because it feels like yesterday we were all growing up, and now we're kind of at that realm of that next step of,
Yeah.
you know, we're getting our careers launched, and, you know,
Isn't that something?
it's crazy. You know, they think it's like, oh man, it's like, you know, it's going to take forever. It's like, I want to be an adult now. And then tomorrow you're an
Mainly
adult.
with kids, that when they say I want to be an adult, they just want to have the freedom.
Yep.
They don't want the responsibilities
That's
with it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, you know, I just bought my house in September, and I'm like,
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, here we go. Let's go.
House
and
party at the Kade Kriewall house.
Oh yeah. You're invited, man.
Yeah.
I got you.
I love it.
Hey, WrestleMania's happening tonight, man. We still got, well, tomorrow I'm going to be in another city.
Do you have
but
a
I was like, let's go.
backyard or like
Oh,
all
yeah.
that stuff? Where is it at?
Backyard. I'm in Warren now.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a house, like it's a full-fledged house. I got a deck, and it goes right out onto Martin, where you can just go right out the back gate, and you can just take a walk, and there's like a park across the street.
Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. We'll definitely have to
Good stuff, bud.
get you guys around and
Good stuff.
cook some burgers up.
I love it.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely love it.
we'll do it.
Well, Kate, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I very much appreciate it. You're a very knowledgeable guy, and I wish you all the best of luck in the near future. And enjoy WrestleMania, my friend.
Yes, we'll do. Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks, buddy.